In this video, we're going to look at 5 possible reasons your Windows computer is slow. Reason number 1, how old is your computer and does it have an HDD drive? As your computer ages, it tends to slow down. The processor slows and the hard drive too, especially if it's an HDD. Believe it or not, the average lifespan of a computer is roughly 3.5 to 4 years. Computers are very much like humans. When we're young, we're fast. As we get older, we tend to slow down. So the age of a computer can make a difference. As far as your computer having an HDD drive, these drives have a motor with bearings and all kinds of mechanical things that can go bad. Solid-state drives, on the other hand, don't have that. How do you know which type of drive you have? Right-click on your Start menu, left-click on the word Run, and in the open box, type the following: DFRGUI, and then click OK. The window that comes up is going to show you the different drives on your machine and what kind of drives you have. If it says hard disk drive, that's the old kind with the motor. If it says solid state drive, that's the new kind. If your computer does have an HDD drive and it's older than 4 years, you could replace the drive, but really you're throwing money down the drain. Instead, you'd be much better off taking that money and putting it towards a new computer. Reason number 2, how much free space does your hard drive have? Here's how you find that out. On the taskbar, click on File Explorer. The Windows default view for File Explorer is Quick Access. In Quick Access, you need to scroll down in the left-hand column and find This PC. Click on that and you'll see your drives on the right. You can change the view by clicking View at the top. I prefer the tile view because it immediately gives me a view of how much space is being used on my hard drive. But if I didn't have that, I could right-click on the drive, go down to Properties, and I would see the graphic of how much space is being used. If you have File Explorer set to open in This PC mode, you do the same thing. You go down to File Explorer on the taskbar, and when you click on it, boom, you can already see the drives, and you can see how much space there is. If you aren't using the tile view, you simply pick your drive, right-click, and go down to the Properties, and you'll get a graphic representation. What you don't want to see is something like this, where almost all of the drive is being used. You need 10% free space on a drive. In this case, I would need 9.8 gigabytes of space, and we simply don't have it. Your computer can definitely slow down if you don't have 10% of free space. If you're in a jam, how can you free up some space? Number 1, clean out all those old pictures and documents and downloads you no longer need. They're just taking up space. Number 2, remove programs you don't use. But here's a word of caution. Make sure you're not removing something that has to be on the computer. Otherwise, you could be in big trouble. Number 3, use disk cleanup. How do you get to disk cleanup? Once again, we're going to go down to the taskbar. Using search, we'll type disk cleanup. At the top of the search window, disk cleanup appears. We click on that. Next, choose the drive you want. That's a drop-down menu. We're going to stay with the C drive. After it checks the drive, it will come back and give us areas where we can delete files, and it will show you the sizes. You can choose to delete them or not delete them. You can also click Clean System Files. Once again, it will calculate, and then it will bring up a window and will show you Windows files that belong to the system that could possibly be deleted, and you could get some space back. You can see it takes a little longer for this to go through, but once again, the window will come up. If we scroll up and down, we can see the different areas. For instance, there's 3 gigabytes of system error memory dump files. We could put a check mark in front of that and get rid of those if we needed the space. We'd get 3 more gigs of space back. That's how it works. Okay, reason number 3. How much memory or RAM does your computer have? Here's how you can find that out. Once again, right-click on the Start menu, and when you right-click, go up to where it reads System. Click on System. A new window appears. Scroll up and down until you find Device Specifications. There you'll see how much installed RAM you have. In my case, on this computer, I have 40 gigabytes. Keep in mind that for Windows 10, 8 gigabytes is really the minimum you should have. Reason number 4. Are there too many programs loading when Windows starts? Go to the Start menu, right-click, and go to Task Manager. Left-click on Task Manager. Once it opens, find the Startup tab and click there. On the Startup tab, you'll see Enabled and Disabled Apps. Here you can disable things that maybe you don't really need when the computer starts up. I actually have my list sorted by the status. At the top, you see a little down arrow. That's how you know it's sorted by status. Everything that's enabled is together. Everything that's disabled is together. As an example, I'm going to disable Power DVD. I click on Power DVD so it's highlighted, and then I click Disable. You can see it disappeared from my enabled list, and if I scroll down, it's now under Disabled. I would do that if I thought this program was slowing up my startup, and I really don't need it. Now, there are 2 other places where files can be for startup. What we're going to do is go down to the Start menu and right-click, left-click on Run again, and this time we're going to type something different than we did last. We're going to type in shell :startup. When we do that, it will show us a folder of any programs that are starting up for an individual account. If you only have one account on your computer, you would only do this one time. But let's say John has an account and Joyce has an account on the same computer. You would have to do what we've just done for each account, because this is the startup just for an individual. If we wanted to remove a program from this startup, we would right-click and then choose Delete. Next, we need to check the startup for the entire computer. Once again, we go to Run. This time we're going to type in shell: common startup. Please note that there's a space between the word common and startup. When we click OK, we get a different folder that opens, and we see is what is starting up for the entire computer. If we wanted to remove some things from the startup, we can simply right-click and go down to Delete. Reason number 5. When was the last time you turned your computer off? Not turning your computer off at least once a week can absolutely slow down your computer. To check, we're going to go to the Task Manager, a different way this time. We're going to the bottom of the taskbar, right-click where there is nothing, and then click on Task Manager. Once that opens, we're going to click on the Performance tab. We'll see the time at the bottom. Reading right to left, we see seconds, minutes, hours, days. That's how you can see how long your machine's been running. Well, that's it for the 5 possible reasons your Windows computer might be slow. Just a reminder, please subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button, and then hit the little bell and pick all. That way, you'll know anytime that we add something to the channel. Thanks for watching.